Okay, we are going to check out the new KMS Tespia, version 1.2.124. Changes for Lara and improvements. I know I only released the video yesterday about KMS stuff, but that, like I said, that one was a week late, so this one was probably already in the works when I made that one yesterday. So immediately an update to yesterday. Well, not 100%, but to the Lara part, right? So to the things from 2 weeks ago when we had Lara entering the test server. So let's see, we have another animation here. This one looks like it's I don't know what it's like Play-Doh, but I don't know what's the word for that again. Who knows the word? Like they're trying to make it look like it's clay. Claymation. Oh yeah, that. It's like a clay animation. Is he doing the robot dance? Oh my god, they're already in a sphere in Arcana. Dude, there really is no in-between with these characters. Either it's these dark, brooding, edgy, my whole family died and you need to avenge everyone and slay my nemesis, or it's like super fucking lovey-dovey, we're floating around on clouds. Furry dreams. It's one or the other. There's no in-between with MapleStory. Test server patch has been released. With some tweaks to Lara and her hometown, as well as improvements and bug fixes. For some reason, the patch notes for Lara were a little less detailed, and it did not include the number changes. Oh, they're like GMS patch notes. I'm honestly kind of lazy right now, so I'm not going to be adding them in. Lol. You can still get a rough idea of the changes, what changes buffed. But I'll have the fully updated skills for next week when it comes to the official server. Yeah, again, like there's another week before Lara actually makes it into the live server, so everything will be finalized then. So it's good to get like a general idea of what they want, what direction they're taking it in. Romantic Geomancer Lara, RGL. Live. Okay, these are pretty long patch notes. Oh, we have the music. Wait, did we listen to this already? I don't think we did. So we have a new grandest planet here, Narin. Okay. Got some music in there. There's some good characters here. A little bit, okay. We've got a ditzy Frankenstein's monster with a daisy in his hair. Interesting monsters. This is getting into Pokemon realms where they've already done every thought and they've come up with like dumber and dumber shit. Lara's multiplier has been increased from 1 to 1.2. That's a pretty big change right off the bat. Jump distance increased. Jump distance decreased for the up jump. The time you can input the skill command has been increased. Command log related to descriptions have been added to the skill description. Attack range in the downward direction has been increased for Sprinkle. That's like your main attack. Mountain Kid's attack range has been changed to be the same as Spirit Sprinkle. Fixed an issue where overload mana overload applied to this skill. Oh, they don't want that to happen. Okay. 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 You need to chillax. Okay. And then Dragon Vein Reading. Dragon Veins are no longer affected by skill effect transparency. Right, because that's the thing that Steve said as well in the video, right? And something that I already remarked. It seems that if you turn up the transparency, you can't see anything anymore. No longer affected by skill effect transparency at all seems like not a great fix either, because they are huge, but let's see. And hunting mobs, dragon veins will now appear more frequently above and below you. Fix an issue where dragon veins were created in the air. Fix an issue where they were visible in situations where they shouldn't have been, such as story cutscenes. Fix an issue where they would stay if the platforms they were on disappeared. But yeah, if they're not transparent at all, that's actually pretty bad too, because your whole map will just be a rainbow vomit of all this stuff. But I guess we'll see what it looks like. Dragonfly Interruption, Dragonfly consumption range has been increased in the downwards and upwards directions. The skill description has been updated to state that eruption skills are not affected by summon duration increasing effects, but eruption skills damage is increased based on your summon duration increasing effects. The skills are not affected by summon duration increasing, but the eruption skills damage is increased based on your summon duration. What? How would the summon duration increase affect the damage of a skill if it doesn't affect the duration of the skill? Yeah, but how would your damage go up, Mochi, if it doesn't go longer, when the only thing it does is increase your duration? I don't really understand this part. If you use a buff razor and revive in the same map, eruption skills will now be maintained. Yes, longer eruption. Oh no, wait. I still had 2 more songs. Summon duration skills increase your damage. You probably do ticks faster. Summon duration gives damage instead of actually extending the duration of the summon. Okay. So the damage increase, the total damage increase happens, just not in time but in lines. I mean, I guess they have a good reason for that, to make sure that you can't just cover the whole map permanently and stuff. Eruption swelling river damage increased, whirlwind damage decreased. Okay. Eruption sunrise wall giants damage has been increased, lava areas damage has been increased, volcanic bombs damage has been increased, dot damage has been decreased. Fix an error with the lava area effect was output awkwardly. Right? One booster fixation where you could learn the skill without having the prerequisite skill. Weird. Mountain seeds. The maximum number of seeds you can carry has been decreased. The feature that lets you use all prepared seeds at the same time with a command has been added. Oh, that should give some utility. Report this ad. They're just clouds. Who pays to have their ad on a website and they're just clouds? Somebody's paying for this right now. This is actually not part of the not part of the patch notes. Somebody's paying for their ad and it's just showing 2 clouds. You're getting scammed. Just saying that. Whoever that company is, you're getting hard scammed. Okay, because no one has any idea who you are and what you're selling. The ad memory leaks. Okay, third job. Holy shit. Prerequisite skill has been added. Dragonfly consumption range has been increased in the downwards and backwards directions. Yeah, the fact that you had to like stand right on top of all of the things to activate them. That was a little bit too railroady to me. If you can access them from... If you can, like, jump around and kind of, like, press the button as you're moving past the general area where it's active, that would make it a lot more playable to me. The area that you can float has been decreased. Eruption, whirlwind, damage boost has been increased. The damage that applies to yourself will now be affected by buff duration. You can no longer... Oh, the buff that relaxes yourself, not the damage. You can no longer right-click to cancel the float. Fix an issue where the buff would not be applied immediately, even if you were in the area. Fixed issue where the skill could be used. Fixed issue, fixed issue, fixed issue, fixed issue. A lot of issues fixed. That's good. That's why you have a test server. So you don't throw this into live and then all of the shit still happens to people in the live servers. Why not? Because we're recording for YouTube right now. Expression where the river flows. Prerequisite skill has been added. Dragon Vein consumption range has been increased in a downwards and backwards direction. Did things not have the same hitbox before? Why are they increasing them in different ways? I thought they would just make the hitboxes for all of the activations bigger and then just leave it at that, but... Eruption Swelling River's damage boost has been increased. The range where the arrival point can be set has been increased. Okay. No, that's the one where you kind of like just float through the map kind of thing, and you're immune. The time to set the arrival point has been increased. It will now be shown in the buff window. The duration will now be affected by buff duration increasing effects. You can now use one skill that consumes Dragon Veins while moving. Based on the distance moved, the number of uses will be increased. Dragon Vein consumption range is wider while moving. Okay, so I think in general they're trying to make the class less railroady. This looks like some decent, like a decent direction to move this character in my opinion. Expression Sunlight Filled Ground, the prerequisite skill has been added. Dragon Vein consumption range has been increased in the downwards and backwards directions. Sunrise Wells damage boost has been increased. The buff that applies to yourself will now be affected by buff duration. The heal amount has been increased. The damage boost has been increased. Fix an issue where sometimes the skill would be insulted and awkward. I wonder if this all means that they will want like buff duration as in their inner ability. Because if you increase the buff duration of everything, and the veins are gonna be like popping out more. If anything, that means you need buff duration less, right? Because it'll be easier to keep all the buffs up, I think. Slumber Awakening. The intangible energies monster tracking range has been decreased. Dragon Vein consumption range has been increased in the downwards and backwards directions. Fix an issue where the skill could be used during the cast action of other skills. Slumber Awakening. That's the one where you like consume all of the veins near you and then do like put out a massive amount of damage, right? Or is that not this one? Well, that's a 5th job that also does that, but this is like Slumber Awakening. This like awakens all the veins, if I'm remembering correctly. Dragon Veins Traces. I think this is the one where you change the energy of a vein, right? Of a Dragon Vein. You now acquire Earth Energy every few seconds. You can hold up to 3 at a time. You must now consume Earth Energy to use the skill. Dragon Vein Search range has been increased. Oh no, this is one that searches where the veins are or something. Cooldown has been decreased. You will no longer move to dragon veins that are too close. What's going on with my chat, and why does this look like an XQC chat where everyone says everything 7 times? Dragon Veins Echo. HP and MP recovered has been decreased. The skill description has been updated to state that the skill is not affected by buff duration, increasing effects. We got less decreasing. less recovery. The skill now increases damage to boss monsters. Purity does. Okay, cool. Geomancy prerequisite skill has been added. The skill now increases Spirit Sprinkles damage. Ah, that's basically your main attack outside of placing all of the summons, so... 4th job. Dragon Vein Absorption. Oh, that's the one. Dragon Vein Absorption. Consumption rate has been increased in the downwards and backwards direction. The skill description... we'll have to see by how much, right? Because it's all... I mean, if it's like half an inch or something, it's whatever. But if it's like sizable. Skill description have updated to state that the skill is not affected by buff duration increasing effects. Fix an issue where if you moved away from using the eruption skill, sometimes the eruption skill would not disappear if you used Dragon Vein Absorption at the same element. Absorption, River Puddle Drench, duration increased, activation range increased, duration increased, activation range increased. So a lot of it has gotten the training wheels treatment, as in better damage, easier to activate. Duration increased on Sunlight Sprout. Fireball's monster tracking range has been decreased. Fixed an issue where the image would be awkward when a fireball failed to find a monster and disappeared. Fireballs will now prioritize the boss monster with the highest maximum HP and race. That's probably good for 4th job skills. Dragon Vein Conversion. Fixed an issue where the cooldown was displayed awkwardly in the quick slots. Oh, the conversion. That's the one where you change what Dragon Vein element it is. Nature Master, a prerequisite skill has been added. The skill's descriptions, damage, display, method has been changed. That's a mouthful. Increased number of monsters hit has been added to the skill description. Eruption, Swelling Rivers, regular swell damage boost has been increased. Large spells damage has been increased. Whirlwind damage boost has been decreased. I think in general they're kind of finding that Whirlwind was a bit overperforming and then the other ones were underperforming, so it seems that they took some damage away from Whirlwind in general and added some to the other boys, to the river and to the Sunrise Well. Volcanic Bomb's damage has been decreased because that one was also doing well, and the skill now increases the Volcanic Bomb's DOT damage. Okay. Isn't Lara Beast Tamer? Isn't him? That's Chase, yeah. Best Friends, the prerequisite skill has been added. The skill's description, damage display method has been changed. The increased number of monsters hit has been added to the skill description. Enhanced Spirit Sprinkles attack range in the downwards direction has been increased even more. Okay. I wonder if this means that on certain platforms you can just hit the monsters below you, or just means that you'll be like really, really good at type of maps like I was gonna say Rev 3, but I don't mean Rev 3. Like in Moonbridge, like in VC3, where you can hit the monsters below you very easily, especially if they're so big already. Chase wears fake ears and a tail, not even anima, just a furry. No, definitely an anima, but just not acknowledged. Mountain Enclosure, the skill description has been updated to state that the skill is not affected by cooldown resets. Intensive Geomancy Mountain Kids attack activation range has been decreased. Okay. And Relaxation final damage boost has been increased. Wait a minute. Final damage on Relaxation. Wasn't that one already was that the one that was 20%? No, that were the other ones. This one gave 30% final damage. This one gave 30% final damage. Wait. Final damage boost has been increased. Wait, Relaxation doesn't have a final damage boost. This one has magic attack, status resistance, and elemental resistance. I wonder if he meant insight instead. Whoa, Michelin tires. Oh my god, you gotta get those, guys. Right, there you go. Mountain Seeds, reinforced, damage boost increased. Mountain Enclosure, extra shield. The shield creation method has been changed to be created every few seconds. I mean, in general though, if you get a lot of, maybe they just slapped 30% final damage on Relaxation as well. If they did, that'd be pretty crazy. But yeah, just final damage in general is a very good way of scaling super hard into the end game. So if that's something you were worried about, if this character would scale well into the end game, I tell you what, having a lot of final damage is typically a very good sign for that. Shield creation method have been changed to be created every few seconds. Okay. Dragonvein's Echo and Hans. The skill now heals your maximum HP by a certain percentage every few seconds while Dragonvein's Echo is active. It heals your maximum HP by a percentage. Did it just mean it heals you based on max HP? Or based on a percentage of your max HP? Wait, isn't that always the case? I don't know. It's weird wording, I guess. Who needs to do minor percentage damage tweaks to specific skills and interactions when you could just give percentage final damage? Yeah, that is definitely a way to do it. Lara will be our winter update. Yeah, if everything goes properly, that should be our winter update, yeah. Free Dragon Vein. This skill has been improved so that it can be used in towns if Dragon Vein reading is activated. Fixed an issue where free Dragon Veins could not be created at places where Dragon Veins erupted. Oh, so you can stack them now. Oh, that's some cool shit. Skill description has been updated to state that the skill is not affected by cooldown resets. Wait, does this sound a certain way? Breathtakingly large tree. Boss monster damage boost while in the tree's area has been decreased. The skill description has been updated to state that the skill is not affected by cooldown resets. The skill will now play Lara's theme BGM while in the tree's area. This thing is gonna play. Also, this tree is humongous, by the way, guys. Like, your character is about this size. This is about how big your character is. So the boss is gonna take less damage. Oh no, boss monster damage boost has been decreased. How much was it here? Stance increased by 100%, boss damage by 50%. Yeah, that was probably a bit much. And critical damage by 10%. And every 2 seconds, the status effects are cleansed for Lara. $30 seconds every 3 minutes. Yeah, no, it's more of a solo thing, yeah. Fifth job, large stretch. Intangible energies damage has been increased. Fixed an issue where cooldown reset effects apply to the skill. Fixed an issue where the skill could be used during the cast action of other skills. Well, people have been testing well. They've been figuring out all of these like niche uses for it, so that's good. Your own BGMs are prioritized, yeah. Sun, River, Mountain, Wind. Damage has been increased. Was that getting the shock? Oh, the shockwaves. Right. Winding Ridges. Those are the dudes rolling around, killing everything. Damage has been decreased. They seem pretty strong. Skill description has been changed to state that the number of attacks restriction is per group, and the number of attacks per group has been decreased. Ooh. Fixed an issue where the number of attacks was applied as 1 when attacking. Fixed an issue where multiple groups would be summoned at the same place. Okay. Yeah, if you make it so that they can't overlap and they're all in different places of the map, then decreasing the amount of hits they do isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it takes the RNG away but makes the overall utility of the skill better. Fix an issue in Dusk where they could only appear on the lowest platform. Fix an issue where MP was not consumed. Fix an issue where the skill could not be used on certain maps. Okay. I'm doing well, Jay. We're going over the latest KMS Tespia patch notes right now. Remove all BGMs. I mean, you can mute that shit if you want to. Lotus Flower duration has been increased. Additional cooldown when you successfully revive has been increased. Oh, okay. Well, that's a Ho-Young change as well, I guess. Ho-Young changes. Pog. Skill improvements. Oh god. Oh god, we're doing general skill balancing as well? Not that much though. Okay, well, let's see what we're doing for other classes. Ice Lightning. Freezing Breath will now continuously attack an enemy after being used. Damage decreased from 450% to 80%. Current Freezing Breath could only attack enemies 1 time, and it would not attack enemies that were already hit again. Therefore, if you use Freezing Breath right before an enemy's bind resistance ended, the attack would hit during the bind resistance and you would not be able to bind them. To improve the usability, Freezing Breath has been changed to a skill that continuously attacks enemies regardless of if they have been attacked before or not, so that you can bind properly. Wait, and every instance tries to bind him? That's okay, I'll have to see that in action. Michelin tires again, cool. Windbreaker. Trifling whim. Arrows will now remain in place for 2 seconds and search for another enemy if the targeted enemy disappears after they are activated. Do they immediately disappear now? If you're pretty strong, that's actually, for mobbing, that's pretty serious. Because they can just fly around. Vortex Sphere cooldown has been decreased from 35 seconds to 30. Movement will now be decreased by 50% for 1 second when it hits a boss monster. Oh, wow. By 50%. So it'll constantly hit a boss monster. That's pretty nice. It can actually do damage. Looks like it. You disappear when an enemy is killed and none are in range. Okay. These are... I think these are 2 very nice Wind Archer changes then, I would say. They seem solid. Video about this. Will is a tiny boss, but still. Wait, can we see that again? And then as soon as it flies past, it just chokes. Oh, I hit quite. That looks like it hits quite a bit more. Just make backstep go upwards for what, for Ho Young? Okay. Evan's staff and wand weapon multipliers have been increased from a 1 to a 1.2. Wait, holy fuck. Isn't that like a lot of extra magic attack? Battle Mage staff weapon multipliers have increased from 1 to 1.2. Wait a minute, don't mages get like a lot of magic attack? Wait, the multiplier... Isn't that massive? Hang on. Control F. Weapon multiplier. .2 for explorers and blaze wizards. I guess they're just pulling it to 1.2 for pretty much everyone who wasn't 1.2 for already. Multiplier. Multiplier is part of the upper actual damage range is multiplier times stat value times total jobs attack divided by 100 rounded off. And then upper shown range is upper actual times a whole bunch of stuff. Wait, so are they just gaining 20%? This is just a 20% gain. On everything. If you're upper actual, lower actual, that's 20% final damage. Jesus Christ, that's massive. That's really big. Okay. Which is fair. Evan was in a shit position. Yeah. But 20% final damage. That's massive. We'll see, I guess. Yeah, Bam is still mostly going to be a support, but if you're soloing, you're going to be able to do much more stuff. That's pretty crazy so far. Okay. Drain Aura now recovers your MP based on 0.1% of the damage dealt. You can only recover up to 10% of your maximum MP at a time. The recovery block time is shared with the HP recovery. Oh, you can get some MP back from that as well. That's pretty nice. Xenon. Oh my god, a lot of Xenon stuff. Efficiency Pipeline. The only pipeline that's not cancelled, guys. This skill has been changed to be passive. 1000 max HP and MP boost has been moved to Xenon Booster. This skill has been changed to also be a passive. Skill name has been changed to Xenon Boost. This skill now increases max HP and MP. Yeah, we know that. Okay. Minority support, all stat boosts have been increased from 20 to 25. Minority support, aw. If a lot of people start playing this class, will you remove the minority support skill? Dual breed defensive. What are these weird ass fucking skill names? The skill has been changed to a be passive also. The additional avoidability rate will no longer change based on the number of remaining avoid and is fixed at 45% at max level. Damage reduction has been increased from 5% to 10%. Ooh, parts code. Duration has been increased from 30 seconds to 40 seconds. Final damage boost has been increased from 25 to 30. Damn. I think right now, people already kind of keep 100% ooh parts uptime, or close to it. But this is like the biggest... This is like a huge damage part of Xenon. At least what I learned from doing Project CRA was very, very important of having ooh parts on a lot. Yeah, 33% duration increase, plus a, 16% damage increase on it. That seems pretty nice. And Xenon is also in a pretty shit position, so it in no way seems like overpowered or way too much. Happy to see Xenon's getting some buffs, because it's, especially in Reboot and GMS, it's quite torturous to play and to upgrade for, so if they can get some handouts and some buffs, then gladly see that going. Meltdown explosion damage has been increased from 900% to 1500%. This is used as a iframe. It's a hyper skill that's an iframe and also gives reduced IED to targets. So you can use it to min-max on your burst as well if you don't need to use the iframe. But almost doubling the damage on it. Why not? And because of the lines going up to 150 bill, this is very unlikely to be capping anyway, so might as well. Isn't that the iframe you need to iframe your iframe? Oh god. C-Val. No, once I figured out for C-Val that you can actually cancel the laser whenever you want, and I started doing that when the laser was over or when Vellum jumped out of the targets instead, that made it way more reasonable. But yeah, having to spam your iframe when your iframe ends, because as soon as the iframe ends, you're immediately targetable again. Yeah, that was very bad. The ID reduction and damage buff for like 15 seconds. Yeah, so that is worth for bursting. Xenon buff, only 20 more buffs and Xenon becomes a playable class. I mean, the fact that a lot of stuff becomes passive, that's also a pretty big buff, because all of that time is no longer wasted buffing, and you can just spend that whole time using damage skills instead. Kane Changes, more increases, more Kane buffs, looks like it. Phantom Blade damage boost increased from 35% points to 115% points. And Tearing Knife's damage boost increased from 95 to 115. Advanced Death Blessing merit buffs final damage boost to Death Blessing effect and execute Blessing and execute skills have been increased from 5% points to 10% points. Some more final damage on Advanced Death Blessing. Isn't Kane strong? What the fuck? I think for Kane they decided to not make the class super OP on release and actually then tweak it later, which I think is a nice way to go. They're not like overpowered or anything. Chasing shot cooldown has been decreased from 30 seconds to 25, and number of monsters hit increased from 7 to 8. Okay. That seems nice. Guilds. Flag raise has been changed to be open every hour at XX30. Oh god, it's gonna mess up our Ursus time. Characters must now have 1 or more weekly guild mission points to participate in flag race. Oh, okay. Dude, this is something I've been saying for 3 years. Like, why isn't flag race just every hour so that everyone can participate? Why is it like an hour sometimes in between, and then sometimes 2 hours, and then sometimes 6, and then sometimes an hour again? It's like, why isn't it just on the top of every hour and just give people like a maximum amount? Just be like, you could be in 5 flag races per day, and it's every hour, like, and then people can just go whenever they can go. This weird restriction on when it's open and stuff, it just pushes people into like, you have to play now, you have to be online now, and then if you're not, somehow you're gonna get punished by your guild and stuff. It puts, like, from guild management perspective, it puts you in such an awkward position because you're like, well, I mean, we want you to participate, but I mean, if you can't be online at that time, like, do we kick you now or do we make an exception? And then if you make too many exceptions, do we get shit guild ranks? And in before Excel will require you to run 12 flags a day. You do get a whole bunch for it in return, so if they want to set that as a rule, then it's their right to do so. One or more weekly guild mission points. What's that? You get guild mission points by killing monsters near your level or by killing some bosses. You get it pretty quickly. I think you get 1 point by killing, I think it's 500 monsters near your level. Might be 5,000, but I think it's 500. Or by killing, like, I think maybe 5 bosses or something that are pretty low level ones. It's in previous patch notes. It's not too bad. 5k? Yeah, 5k. The bosses are going to have like a list of how many points per boss, and then that's going to total out to a certain amount of points as well. It's a very small requirement, but it's something, and that kind of makes sense. So you have to make sure that you're somewhat active. And I think a member can get up to 20 of these points per week. And the whole guild can only get up to 400 per week. So if you have 20 active people who are maxing out, then nobody else... When it comes to like weekly guild mission points at least, then nobody else contributes basically. But those points are also going to contribute to getting skill points. And basically this is going to help smaller guilds to get a decent amount of skill points as well, rather than in, in the bigger servers and specifically in KMS, being completely priced out of having access to any kind of skill points because there's so many strong guilds. You need 40 members to cap? Oh, was it 800 then? Oh, no. It was 5, sorry. It was 5 points. You can get 5 points per character per week. And with 40, you can get 200. That was, I think that was the number. Yeah, 200 to cap. Yeah, my bad. You only need 5 of these. If you kill 25 monsters near your level, or you kill, whichever bosses from the list, then you already capped for the week as a character. This music gives you PTSD. Oh yeah, is this the... Do you guys like the CPAP fight, boys? The Shurinian's underground culvert has been changed so that you cannot use the noblesse skills anymore. That was also something that was asked during the player conferences and during, like in the user boards, because they wanted to make sure that the difference between the lower ranking guilds and the higher ranking guilds doesn't get increased because of the skills, right? Because if someone is already higher ranked and then you give them the benefit of using the skills as well inside, then you can make the differences even bigger and it's even harder to overcome and to compete with the guilds at the super high end, of course. After flag race organization, an issue occurred where if a large number of people participate together at specific times, it was difficult to play smoothly. To solve this, instead of fixing the server space, instead we're making everything... Instead of fixing our server quality, and making sure that you can have a smooth game experience, instead, we're just spreading you guys out. Meet more frequent, so that you must have 1 point, in addition to prevent the competition to acquire noblesse skills from being affected. Oh, by the noblesse skills? Yeah, from the week before, we have changed Shurinian's gun. Okay. I mean, this is not really a developer node, this is just... saying again what they did here and just saying it again. You can now see the previous week's guild member participation in the guild UI. This is going to be important, okay? People are going to get hard kicked based on this shit. We'll just get a rundown of everyone and what you did last week. If we see for multiple weeks that you ain't doing shit and you're just sitting in there AFK doing your own thing and not participating to the guild at all, heads will roll, okay? You have 6 more months of just freeloading and lurking in whatever guild you're in right now. After that, it's going to get real serious real quick. Because right now, nobody can really be bothered to hardcore test. The juniors are not going to spend all their days making spreadsheets and checking everyone's contribution and shit. But juniors are gonna love this change, and they're gonna be. It's gonna be so easy to keep up with who is doing shit and who is just hardcore slacking. And there's gonna be juniors are gonna become the grim reapers of the game, and they're gonna scythe some heads off. Monster Life. You can now see a record of the monsters you have released. Monster release records will be saved for 60 days. Yeah, we don't have that shit. Quests. The selection result for whether you want to receive the experience or not will now be displayed in chat window. When you complete the Arcane River dailies, you can choose to not get the experience. Okay, I guess. The Black Wings behavior quest has been improved, so you can complete it even if you do not have the Black Wings medal item. The quest, I don't know what any of this is. You can now check the party quest schedule at the next party points reset date by talking to Spigella in the party quest entrance. Wait, is this Spiegelman's wife? Items. When 0 characters use custom mix die coupon, they can now choose the character to change from alpha, beta, or alpha plus beta. Okay. Well, that's great. Maple auction, amazing, etc. When the character's death penalty is applied, the reduced experience will now be displayed. As a minus? Damn. Error fixes. Fix an issue where the debuff that activated after failing a rune inputs would appear to remain even after it ended. Fix an issue where if you stayed connected for 24 days or more without exiting the client, summons images would not be output. Dude, what kind of fairy tale land are these guys playing the game in? Connected for 24 days or more without exiting the client? What the fuck? What is this, 2007? Even then, you'd have hackers crashing your channel at least every day. This is the living proof that people in Korea just play a completely different game. They live in a different reality. Imagine a client where you can stay logged in for 24 days or more. Even in GMS, staying connected for 24 hours is already quite impressive. Even if you just... Like, my laptop just stands still in a town map and gets DC'd by NGS hacking error at least like every 18 hours or so. Fix an area where if they had buffs that disappeared due to things like entering skill restricted content, then logged out and reconnected, they would be applied again. Sure. Can you chill out a little bit? You can no longer change your weapon while weapon puff rings skill durations are active. Weapon puff I think is weapon jump in GMS. Change your weapon while weapon jump rings skill durations are active. People would do that? I guess you could min-max in some minor situation. It doesn't seem like that's ever really worth it, but okay. Fix an issue where you could use rope connect type skills while using certain rush skills. Fix an issue where if you use blink after using certain float skills, the movement speed would change. Now this ad, I want to report this ad. I find this offensive. This, you know, this is offensive to people of color. This is a really white ad. Very white, okay? Society is already very white. Fix an issue where bind skill, second, information message would be output awkwardly. Fix an issue where link skills where sometimes the daily transfer limit could be exceeded. That means which would imply that it's not the limit if you can exceed it. Fix an issue where sometimes unlinked to link skills would still be applied. Fix an issue where sometimes transferred link skills would be automatically unlinked. Fix an issue where sometimes after transferring a link skill, you would have to reconnect to have them apply. And you guys wanted link skill changes. Look at all the shit this comes with. Just leave my link skills alone. Hopefully, we won't have like too long of a period where the link skills are fucked like this. That's what happens when you change a 2 into a different number? Yeah, apparently. Oh my god, how spaghetti is this code, dude? Change the number 2 to number 4. Game breaks. Oh god. Fix an issue where the Paladin's elemental charge damage reduction did not apply to attacks that dealt more than 100% maximum HP damage. Really? Oh, it probably should. Because if you have enough other sources, then you might survive. Fixed an issue where Bowmaster's after image shots passive activated on Ursus. Oh my god, no wonder they were doing so much damage. Issue with Dual Blade, where if you had the skill cooldown skip ability, and use Change of Hell, sometimes the skill icon would appear to be reset. Oh. That is unlucky if your skill looks like it's reset, but it's actually not, especially when it's an iframe. You don't want to rely on an iframe when you can't actually use it. Dual Blade's Blade Tornado activated Tornado will no longer remove Dark Sight. Ooh. Dual Blade buffs. Soul Master, you cannot use Soluna Slash while using Dance of Moon in the air. When strikers right click to cancel, the lightning buff element lightning will now also be cancelled. Oh, element light. Oh, okay. Oh, those are connected now? Okay. Luminous Spell Mastery and Magic Mastery skill description happen to match. No. Most of these are kind of just tweaks. Visionary, if Wild Hunter was riding on a Jaguar, they could not attack enemies that can only be hit by basic attacks. Fixed issue where Xenons could not float using Blink while charging Mega Smasher. Oh, they can now? Oh, you could just Blink, float up in the air while Mega Smashing? Well, I guess you won't be able to for a little bit. Zero's Critical Bind will no longer activate from skills that bind enemies. Uses Bind, Critical Bind activates on Bind. Fix an issue with Kinesis where Psychic Grab's effect was output between the face and hair layers. And fix an issue where Ever Psychic's effect was output between the face and hair layer. Okay, this is a very specific problem. Fix an issue with Adele where if you used order, oh god, was it this return? No, order, gathering, and blossom in a specific order. Some other swords would not activate blossom. Oh, I had that. Sometimes you just press all the skills and all of them go on cooldown, but blossom never happens. With the Delaware, if you use Blossom at the same time as an Ether Sword's duration ended and you use Storm again, the number of attacks for Storm would be increased even if the Ether Sword's duration ended. This is a thing. Uh-oh. What is this thing? Wait. I mean, this person is 265. That's the... And they're like buffed with literally everything. And this is Bera as well, right? So this is non-reboot. With all of the buffs on. Core, the U parts. VIP buff. Green pot, echo, critical damage. They've got like a big summon doing extra damage too. I mean, the only reason they can kill it this fast is because you can do enough lines that quickly. Most characters can, like my R can kill it in one skill, or I guess in two skills. Like I pop one skill and then pop the other one. And I can kill it like that, but it just... I don't have a bunch of summons I can put down to do more of the damage, so it takes a bit longer to get all the damage done, you know? Doesn't mean my character is weaker or this one is stronger, but having summons definitely helps in killing things quickly. Boss monsters... Oh, am I too late? Wait, this guy got in, but my Kana didn't because of lag, lol. Some issues, monster changes when you... Where the powerful Ascension, Embryon, and Foreverion sound were not output. Oh, this is like the empowered maps in the new areas. Or in the new maps in the existing areas. Features where Hotel Ark's Sandblade Marauder, where it could sometimes not be hit. Oh, that seems unlucky. Hungry Mudo, a monster park where the bear sharks, chief bear sharks. Wait, why don't I have a D there? Krillas and Chief Krillas did not have their headbutt attack. I think nobody was too upset about that. Features were an elite boss bonus stage and runes of treasures flying mimics where sometimes they did not drop items. I mean, do you really care at a certain point? Well, I guess that should be fixed. Owlbear's appearance action played continuously. Oh. That's probably not good. Okay, just small things, items. Floating effects would disappear. Blah, 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 blah. Fix an issue where if Dual Blade and Xenon's characters equip the time together with Maple item and use specific skills, the images would be awkward. Okay. That's very specific. Feature in the Day in Truth at 4, where if you could not move up to certain platforms when using floating skills underneath specifically. Okay, these are all just like small fixes. When there are no buffs that can be protected by Buff Freezer, the Resurrection UI will no longer save the Buff Freezer usage check. Okay. Fix an issue where guild marks looked different. Are they going to fix the part where sometimes the custom guild emblems just disappear? The print screen key will no longer work while the game is running. However, you can use Alt print screen to take a screenshot. Okay. Huge change. I don't know if you'll recover from that one. Alright, that seems like all of that. So, no specific numbers on all of the Lara stuff. We'll see next week once they actually come to the game. And then hopefully soon after that we'll see some gameplay from people as well. People roaming around in KMS. But it seems that they're in general making the class a little bit less railroaded. So larger animation or larger activation radius for the skills. More damage on the basic skill on the Spirit Sprinkle. And it seems that in general the Whirlwind got nerfed a bit because its continuous damage was probably proving to be a bit too strong. But the River and the Sunrise skills, those were buffed across the board, so to equalize those a little bit. But yeah, we'll see how much this makes the character better, and then some skill changes in general. I think the main thing from all of this is the multiplier for the Evans and the Battle Mages that are basically just gaining 20% final damage. That's pretty damn massive. And I would say the Wind Archer changes actually seem pretty cool as well. And hopefully Xenon and... seem like some pretty big buffs for very select classes, but pretty big buff for all of those. It's like Wind Archer, Evan, Battle Mage, Xenon, and Kane seem to be getting... Well, Kane probably the least, but there is final damage and some percentage point increase, so... So it seems solid for those classes. Again, remember this is Tespia, so next week we'll have this all finalized, and we'll hopefully have all the numbers for Lara. But even if we have the numbers for Lara, that doesn't mean all that much, because we haven't seen her in the game at all yet. I mean, we've seen some gameplay, but like in test servers, so those numbers are always all over the place. So we'll have to see them actually hit the live servers and then see what they do. But yeah, kind of looking forward to what's going to happen there. So... I stopped playing Wind Archer buffs. Yep. Your protest, your silent protest, Tomer, was enough to get them off their ass and be like, oh shit, the player base, Wind Archer player base went down by 20%. One of the 5 Wind Archers stopped playing. We need to buff the class now. Maybe they go by percentage of player base dropping. You have like one Blaze Wizard stop playing. Oh shit, there goes 50% of the player base. We need to buff this class. Yeah, but let me know what you guys found interesting. Any hopes you have for, or thoughts you have on the Lara class. And for the skill changes, I guess, what you're looking forward to most if you're one of those classes that are affected. And I'll get back to you next week with finalized KMS patch notes. Once again, shout out to orangemushroom, of course, for making these patch notes, translating everything, organizing it in this way. Very nice. Make sure you check out his website. I'll link in the description. And make sure you whitelist him so he gets some ad money, okay? Let's support him because he is making good stuff for us. Alright, I'll